Hey everybody, Jaws Jr. here with another in-shop adventure. So, you can tell, got something exciting here. What we have here is a Highland Park 18-inch slab saw. It's the model J2. This is one of the newer models of the vintage era, I guess the best way to put it. Let me show you something here. Those who know Highland Park know that this is a different type of label. It says Highland Park Manufacturing, a division of Masuta Industries Inc. So this is one that is newer for this design. This one is kind of special to me. Sorry for the chicken in the background. Every time I go to talk, it wants to voice its opinion. So this one here used to belong to my grandfather. It's been sitting in storage for the past 15 to 20 years, not exactly sure. Has not been used. Needs some work. He's done modifications to it by adding the tires, which need to be replaced, which I will do. So let me go ahead and open this thing up and show you the inside and talk to you about what I'm going to do with it. There's the inside. It is mechanically in good shape. It's just dirty. So with that, this is to show you what I'm going to do to disassemble some of this and get it cleaned. I've got some methodologies I'm going to use. I've also got some inquiries out there, so after it's cleaned up I can repaint, repair the rust, and repaint the lid, the tub, and the frame, as well as the carriage, possibly even the vise. So yeah, it is going to be very difficult to get this cleaned up. I already have some parts on order. I have 8 of these roller bearings here on order. And I have the 2 belts. The one for the motor belt and one for the carriage drive belt. That's what it's called. You're going to have to pardon me on the terminology. I am not up on all the terminology associated with these, but I will get better over time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start disassembling it, and I will have you guys show, or I will show you guys the progress as I'm going along. This is not a how to do it, because I don't know how to do it. I'm learning as we go, and as if I see something that's pretty cool or peculiar, or I screwed up on something, I'll show you. But the first thing is going to go through the process of removing the carriage, removing the saw, removing this tray, removing this tray, if I can, and just doing a very good cleaning, which may take a while. Okay, everybody, we got it all tore down as far as I'm going to take it right now. Learning a lot about this unit. Now, this is the challenge right here. This is the oil, and you can see it. And you can see how bad it is in there. Really no rust, except for around the top edge up here, like up in here. That's not even rust. Inside, there's no rust. So, I'm gonna do, there's this nut that took off on me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up doing some scraping carefully, so I don't really want to scratch the bottom paint of this, and do some cleaning. I also have to clean up the area around those pillow block bearings quite well, because I do not want those pillow block bearings to be wet. So I'll clean that area up first, and then I'll put the cover, which is this, back on it. Now as for parts, let's look at the carriage down here. Carriage needs cleaning on the vise, but we have these roller bearings here. And those roller bearings, I'm going to replace all 8 of them. There's 2, 4, then there's 6 here, and then there's 8 there. Those roll on top of the square tubing. Now on the bottom of the square tubing is these. And you can see how it sits in there. And this roller bearing you can kind of see how that looks. That roller bearing needs to get replaced on all 4 of them. And I did not order those, so I will order those. I got new belts on order. There is a gasket right here, and you can see where it rides here. That's going to get replaced. A good cleaning. I will inspect bushings here, and you can't see it. Well, you can see it right in here. I will make sure that these bearings are okay, and I'm really hoping that these bearings are good, because I do not want to mess with those. Now, here's something I've noticed. I will take out these plugs and I will put in Zerk fittings. Then I will fill them with grease, spin them, I'll take the Zerk fittings out, and I'll put those plugs back in. And this will become like a once-a-year maintenance, maybe 6 months, where I have to tear the covers off and this off, put the Zerk fittings back in there and re-grease it. And the reason why they don't have them on there, you can see right here. That plug hits right there. So there's not enough space for it. And since these are lined up hopefully very well, I don't want to mess with it. I'm also ordered an alignment gauge, and that is what these are for. Loosen these bolts here up, and then you can adjust the alignment of the blade accordingly. I really hope I don't have to mess with that alignment, but if I do, I do, and I will. I know what to do. But I'm going to leave it right now, and hopefully it's still at its factory setting. But yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, people. So, of course, there's the chicken. That's going to be an ongoing thing here. So, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to start the cleanup process, and I'm going to show you how I did this cleanup. Still raining out here, but that's okay, because we're inside messing with this. I am so glad that I decided to go ahead and pull this cover. Now this is what drives that shaft, which controls the speed for the carriage. You have the belt coming up from right here. There's a tensioner, and there's this pulley. Comes across to the shaft to this worm gear. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this all taken apart and cleaned up. This looks like it had grease in it. It's not the proper way to do it. So I've got to get all this cleaned up. I've got to inspect these gears carefully to make sure that they are still functioning. They're still serviceable. There's no issues with it, which they actually look in pretty good shape. Then I've got to remount this cover, and see, this is the cover that the data plate's on. That's right there, see? Then I've got to get the appropriate sealant to go around the outside of this cover edge and mount it back on here. Oh my. Now, I don't know if this originally came from the factory with this way here, but now they recommend 80 weight oil. So, that's what I'm going to do. Lucky me. What a mess. Okay, everybody, turn on a light here for you guys. There we go. I am pretty well scraped this clean. And just some more minor detail cleanup I'm going to do to it, but I wanted to show you the rest. This is that lid, the cover that goes over this worm gear. And got the gears cleaned up really good. A little bit more wipe downs behind him I got to do. But I wanted to show this to you. And I've went ahead and made a decision that I am just going to go ahead and use this old blade that came with the saw for the first couple of cuts after I get it put back together. But that's going to be on the next video. The next video is going to show you what I'm going to do to reassemble this, the installation of some of the new parts that came in, as well as doing a test fire, just to turn it on and let it go, let it run by itself without any rocks, and then fill it with oil to the appropriate level and cut its first rock. It's cut in probably over 20 years. I believe my grandfather was the last person to cut a rock on it. If it wasn't him, it was definitely my uncle who I bought this from. So it's still being in the family. That's important to me, especially when it comes to the rock hounding stuff. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. I know it's kind of boring just showing you the steps of going through to clean it, but this is to show you that if somebody like me with the chicken in the background can tackle a job like this, the vast majority of you can as well. It does not generally have to be a 10-inch saw or an 18-inch saw. It could be a 10-inch saw or an 8 or a 6. This is where you can go out and buy used equipment and rehab it yourself, make sure that things are fully functional, and go from there. Now, one thing I will not be doing on this here, and I don't know if I'll ever film it, is the repainting. It's too cold to paint right now. It's way too cold. So that's a summertime project, and I want to take this somewhere or have somebody come look at it to tell me what I can and can't do. The inside, I am not going to worry about painting it. Once this is filled to its recommended level with mineral oil and it's ran, the mist coming off the mineral oil from cutting the rock will coat the entire inside of this, and it'll be an automatic rust protectant. Now, I have noticed I am getting a little bit of surface rust right now from this. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to wipe it all down before I put mineral oil in it, before I start my reassembly process as well. So, and a couple little bit more cleaning up things I want to do. So I'm going to let this one here go. This is part one of hopefully a two-part series of this Highland Park square rail 18-inch slab saw. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to like it as well for me. I don't ask for that very often, but you know, have to ask sometimes. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. There's all kinds of rock hounding stuff, as well as other adventures that I do. And also, I'll probably be starting a new series on a vehicle that we have recently acquired. So, I'm going to let you guys go. Just remember, everyone's life is an adventure. Then there's mine, here, working this Highland Park 18-inch slab saw. This is the Adventures of Jaws Jr. Have a good one, everybody. See ya!